The fear of failing will stop you from growing if you let it. Everybody's afraid to fail. It's a very natural human thing. Some people might claim they're not. Hey, to each their own. I don't personally believe that, but I'm not here to judge. The thing with failing and the fear of failing is because we've been conditioned to see failure as a bad thing, a negative thing, something that indicates us as being less worthy or just wrong in some way. A lot of people are just afraid to actually fail. And on the other side of failure is growth. You have to get through things that don't work to figure out what even works. So I personally see failure as an opportunity and not something that has to be fixed, not a mistake that means, oh, I'm bad or somebody's bad. It's just, hey, maybe this didn't work out this way. Let's recalibrate, examine what happened, what went well, what didn't, and then figure out what forward looks like. And I think by taking that approach, that actually opens up the door to a lot of opportunity to grow and learn because it's in those moments when things don't work, when things are hard, when things are just beyond tricky, that we really want to figure out who we are and figure out what we need and figure out how we're then going to actually move through life and show up in the world. And failure does a couple things. And I want to be clear here. I'm not saying just go out into the world and find things to fail at, because I think that can easily become self sabotage. And that's another thing we're all somewhat guilty of. But what I am saying is that it's important to embrace failure anytime we're starting something new, right? For example, let's say I wanted to start an ice cream shop. I know nothing about running an ice cream shop, never have, really probably never will. But if someday I woke up and decided I was going to start an ice cream shop and I started that shop and I didn't sell ice cream and I had to shut it down, on the surface, that's a failure, right? It didn't work the way I expected it to work. And the thing with failure is that when we find ourselves in a moment that we've failed or something hasn't gone how we planned it to go, we actually have a few options. And growth is somewhere on the journey depending on what we choose, right? We can choose to, one, try again, do the same thing, maybe the same way, and just try it again. We can choose to try differently. We can choose to still work toward the same thing or the same goal, but maybe take a different approach, take a different path, just reimagine or reimage what getting there actually looks like and accomplishing that, what all that actually looks like. And we can choose to just let it go altogether. Pivot, let it go, release it, and go somewhere else. All of them, depending on what the situation is, can be valid choices and actually can be reflective of growth depending on what's fueling the decision, right? Because again, when we fail, we have these choices, but in order to really make a choice that feels constructive or feels aligned with us, we have to understand who we are, what we value, what we need, and what our capacity is at that moment. So we have to do some digging, some soul searching, some self evaluation. And that's why failure, when approached as an opportunity, approached with a constructive lens, actually leaves room for growth and also creates an opportunity or an avenue to build self trust, to build self worth, to build alignment within yourself. Because you need to get to know yourself in those moments when things don't go well. You need to look inward and say, okay, well, how did I show up? What did the situation call of me? What did I give it? What can I give it? And where do I go from here? Right? All of that has to happen for the growth to actually materialize on the other end of that failure. And if you never try, you can't go through that process. So those opportunities to learn yourself, to learn your values, to understand your capacity and also stretch it through that failure, through those attempts, none of that happens if you don't try and sit on the other end of, well, I don't think I can do this, so I'm not going to do it. Look, anybody who's ever done anything was new to it at some point. Any professional athlete you see, there was a time when they weren't a professional athlete and they never even played the sport. Any professional pilot you see, there was a time they didn't know how to fly the plane. Any, I don't know, big judge you see, there was a time when they weren't practicing law, right? The point is, everybody has to start somewhere. And everybody who has a grand title, has major accomplishments, or really just is easy to look up to, I promise you they failed at a few things and they have a few stories to tell you. So the point of this video is saying this, I'll put it very simply. Failure is not something to be afraid of, and it's not something to run away from. It's something to welcome as part of the process, as part of the journey, because you will fail. You will hit your head against the wall. You will scratch your head and be like, I don't know what I'm doing with this or how to get out of it. All of these things will happen. And the quicker we embrace those things, those elements, those moments as part of the journey, the quicker we're able to just kind of keep moving. When things fall apart, we can pick up, pivot, and keep going rather than giving up and just, not living up to our full potential. So, with that said, if anything I've said resonates with you, and I imagine something does if you're still watching, I actually have a few resources for you. First, I have an ebook. It's a self-trust ebook. And in that ebook, there are tips to identify self-doubt and really help you build self-trust so you can navigate life that just feels more aligned for you. It's not about not being afraid, it's about taking action even when you are afraid. And I also have a guided journal. And this journal is all about helping you navigate life's transitions. So there are tips, tricks, and, well, not tips and tricks, that's more in the ebook, but there are reflective exercises and questions in here that are designed to help you really connect with yourself and get to know you so that you can move through life from a space that's grounded within yourself, your values, just who you are as a person, and make decisions that actually align with that. So you can check these resources out on my website. And outside of that, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care.